Alright. What the fuck's going on?
Shut the fuck up!
No, I'm not gonna fucking do it, no. Fine. Fine. One last hurrah. One last hurrah from this particular fucking saga, just because of the 200 subscriber mark. Nothing more than that. I swear, after this, I don't want to hear another fucking thing about this fucking asshole except for memes. Memes and jokes, A-okay. But please, stop flooding my inbox with requests. If you try to name drop me again, you little fucking crack baby, I'm gonna splatter your brains all over the fucking pavement with a fucking cinder block in front of everyone watching. The difference between you leaking my name and me saying your name goes as follows. You publicly said your name in a format where anyone could fucking see it. You got my name from law enforcement who you tried to contact in an attempt to get me arrested or harassed, and when they told you to shut the fuck up because there was no case against me whatsoever, you decided to take the law into your own hands by trying to leak my name and basically trying to dead name me to the entire public. Yeah, doesn't seem to have worked too well for you, has it, Spaz? Holy shit, you're a fucking retard. Yeah, because something that you made up, that we decided to run with as a fucking joke for an April Fool's Day video. And because you're so fucking stupid and crazy, you thought people running with the joke that you unintentionally helped make is an actual, like, organization when it's just, like, maybe 20 people that make fun of you for being a dumbass on the internet. And immediately that somehow translates to being some massive government infrastructure or organization that has, like, millions of dollars of funding to commit terrorist acts. No. It's a bunch of people on YouTube that called you a retard for acting like a giant fucking faggot to everyone, and instead of shutting the fuck up and going away, you made it worse. I didn't realize that calling out some wannabe pseudo-intellectual snake oil salesman who's also retarded with a deformed-looking face was the same thing as legitimately being a terrorist sect. You're such a fucking retard. I love how we can't even spell chaos correctly. And how am I going to cause chaos in another nation just by saying mean words on the internet? I don't think there's never been a single occurrence in the world's history so far within our current century where people have just said, well, this guy said a mean word to me, I need to go loot stores and burn people alive. Like, no functioning human being with a working brain with the ability to reason has ever reached that conclusion. Ever. I don't recall there ever being a story from anywhere in the news where some guy says something on YouTube that has nothing to do with, like, religion in places that are predominantly divided by it, for example. Like, in a place as free as the West, for example, I've never seen someone say one thing that's mildly inappropriate or simply a little bit harsh about one person and the whole fucking city burns down overnight. That doesn't fucking happen. If you're so fragile to be claiming to be a world leader and you're so fucking fragile that when someone disagrees with you, your first thought is to, like, sit there and sulk for 6 days and cry about it for 3 weeks on YouTube and fabricate a whole bunch of really retarded libelous essays where you essentially bitch about people having something negative to say about you acting like a giant fucking retard, then maybe, just maybe, you don't belong in a position of authority. If people disagreeing with you sets you off so bad you need to cry for 6 weeks and then start trying to sabotage them and name drop them, then you don't need to be in a position of authority. Yeah, hate speech. That's another bullshit thing. If people simply calling someone mean names on the internet is hate speech, then the internet is fucked. Think about it. If there were people like all over the internet right now policing everything someone says to the point to where they were not allowed to say anything remotely negative about anyone, the internet would essentially die. There would be no room for disagreeing opinions. There would be no argumentation because the internet would essentially be a giant fucking hug box. It would turn the internet from a place where people are permitted to bitch about shitty movies or bitch about shitty actors or bitch about shitty people or simply debate their ideas back and forth so they can butt heads and collide and disagree with each other, sometimes respectfully, sometimes not so much. But if you're trying to like tell people that hate speech is anything that doesn't agree with you, then that's not hate speech. That's simply you trying to become a fascist dictator, essentially. And you're trying to police someone else's language while at the same time you claim to be in another fucking country who would have no jurisdiction to force its guidelines or rules upon someone that does not fucking live there. It's the same reason that the United States does not have the right to go up and tell certain people to follow laws that only apply to this country. I mean, that makes no fucking sense. Alright, first off, dipshit, no one was being racist for calling you a fish. You can say that until you're fucking blue in the face to where you actually look like someone who might be Asian, considering the fact they are darker than a burnt sausage. But nevertheless, you're about as Asian as I am, okay, jackass? And here's the thing. No one is being sadistic. Like being a sadist or being sadistic means you get sexual pleasure from watching someone in pain. Just like how a masochist receives sexual pleasure from being in pain. No one is like enjoying this sexually. They simply just want to point out the fact they act like a giant fucking dipshit to everyone, screaming like a retard at the top of your lungs about shit you obviously don't fucking understand, and the whole time you whine and bitch and complain when people point out the fact that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about 100% of the time. But yeah, it's just everyone being sadistic and racist. It's not him being a retard and talking shit about things he obviously does not understand. And what do you mean war? This isn't a war. This is just a bunch of people being critical to some whiny little retarded spedfuck who seems to think that mommy beating him into a coma and then leaving him in a school for the mentally disadvantaged was conservatives conspiring against him even when he was much, much smaller. No. It's simply you, suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect, trying to tell yourself you're smarter than everyone when you're obviously not, because for whatever reason, cognitively, you have the mental understanding of situations that someone that's only been alive for 7 years would have. I know you say age doesn't exist, but you act like a 7-year-old. Because you act just like someone who's only been alive that long, who stomps their feet and throws temper tantrums and throws their toys on the ground when they don't get what they want. You're the typical SJW archetype. Some brain dead fucking retard who assumes that if he spouts out some gender studies bullshit and starts then repeating his own fucking horse shit about things he personally believes that he can't prove, it just automatically makes him some sort of like next gen guru who knows everything. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Well, actually, no, I'm not sorry at all. Fuck you, it doesn't. Like, there's nothing war about this. This is not a war. This is just you being retarded, trying to victimize yourself by trying to convince yourself that the big bad conservatives are out to get you. No, you're just a dipshit and you need someone else to blame for your fuck-ups, so the people on the other side of the fence are the ones you immediately blame instead of yourself. Take some fucking responsibility. Seriously, take some responsibility! The Ministry of Human Rights are working closely with the Hassampa Institute. Oh, you mean that institute that oddly enough shares the same name of that motherfucker that you were creeping on online. And when it turned out you were a pedophile, the dude pretty much went silent and pretty much decided to fucking ghost you. Yeah, sure. An institute that oddly enough shares the name of someone that you've been stalking online that you were friends with. Until they found out you were a pedo and pretty much decided to distance themselves from you and ghost the ever-loving fuck out of you. The GC2 influence in our region is increased by 12%. So what you're talking about is that you probably asked around in Los Angeles where you're clearly living, which you keep refusing that to acknowledge that because, out of your fucking mind. But nevertheless, it's not GC2 because GC2 is a joke. It's an inside fucking joke that your stupid fucking faggoty ass ended up spawning by making it up in that bullshit legal document to a country that does not fucking exist. You're so fucking stupid, it's not even funny. I think the only reason he's saying this realistically is because he's trying to pretend that him not being told what he wants to hear is the fault of someone else and never his own. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like there are people telling him that he's wrong that we don't know, most likely people offline that he's running into, telling him that he sounds fucking crazy. And because maybe a couple people don't agree with him wherever the fuck he's at right now, he thinks it's like somehow GC2 doing it when really it's just him being a fucking crazy ass. By Ministry of Statistics, you mean yourself and the pedophiles that happen to agree with the things that I'm saying instead of you personally. And because people don't like me calling out pedophiles, or Cass calling out pedophiles, or Steve, or Zach, or Athena, or Jennifer, or Ryuki, or anyone else that I associate with calling out pedos, it's the same thing as over 120 people being victimized. I actually had to pause the video and look back on some of the people that I dealt with. If I am to actually count up the number of people that I've talked shit about, it's less than 30. Within 2 years on this website, it's been less than 30 people that I've actually seriously, went in on and, actually had plenty of shit to say that's negative about them. So, out of maybe 20, 30 people, he's more or less quadrupled that amount nearly to make himself seem special. Despite the fact that he personally is the only one that sees this as any sort of victimization, when really it's just someone holding other people accountable for the stupid shit they've said and done. But, because he's a crybaby pussy, he's always gonna say, no, it's just you being a retard. It's just you being a retard. Just because you're a simpering SJW doesn't mean you're a liberal. It just means you're a retard that sucks the cock of CNN and takes the limp bullshit dick they're ramming sideways up your asshole the whole time. That's all you're doing. You're just going by information other people spoon feed you because you're a fucking retard. You don't think critically, you don't ask questions. You're essentially the perfect SJW because whenever someone tells you something you believe it, unless of course it's something that actually makes sense, in which case you shun it faster than someone showing their ankles at an Amish wedding. But nevertheless, you are a disgusting slimy stain on the planet's underwear, and I hope that you get burned alive horribly in an incinerator while everyone gets to eat some Jiffy Pop and watch. And no, it's not random, but it's also not politically motivated either. It's because you happen to be a pedo supporter. That's it. Well, you're also a crazy asshole, so that would have gotten me to make fun of you either way, but that's the thing that really ended up putting you in the spotlight, was your insane bullshit about being a supporter of kitty diddling, incest, bestiality, and cannibalism. Honestly, if you weren't such a crazy motherfucker, people would never say shit. You would basically just be another thing flying underneath everyone's radar. Oh boy, here we go. Another riveting lecture about how he is the intellectual and about how all of us are just a bunch of stupid fucking gnats crawling around on his royal flippers asking for his permission to exist. Amazing. We should all just be so lucky to be called gnats and treated as though we're mental inferiors by someone who most likely couldn't even tie his own shoes. Anyone else getting a kind of Jim Jones cult sort of fucking feeling from this? We recruit people to be part of our great nation. No, you don't recruit people to be in your nation. People immigrate to your nation because they are seeking a better life for themselves or their family, or they see better opportunities there. You don't recruit people to be part of your nation. You recruit people to be part of a military or a cult. When you say recruit, and you have the talking points that you espouse often, you start to sound more like a fucking cult. Oh boy, like this guy's actually sounding like an actual cult leader. I'm starting to wonder if he's projecting that he wants to start a cult by saying that someone else is trying to be a cult leader, while at the same time the person he's trying to throw that label at has no interest in making everyone think or act the same. Right, right. 40 articles of legislation calling something that doesn't really exist in a serious context out. I'm gonna let Bill Burr handle this. What do you think, Bill?
Go fuck yourself.
So what, is Morpheus gonna pop out of our fucking computers or smartphones and tell us all that we're a bunch of evil, bigoted assholes, despite the fact that none of us have actually espoused any actual bigoted points of view? Is Morpheus gonna like start saying that everyone else is just a conservative machine like the fucking Matrix film, and Stetson is the one who's gonna free humanity from the evil conservative robots? Hate crime Matrix, right? Like, I have a question. How much crack do you ingest a day to where you actually think that A, this makes any sense, B, anyone would take this shit seriously, or C, anyone really would give a fuck in a serious context that would actually make them concerned to say shit about you? Because right now you have someone making fun of you just because you sound like a deliberately crazy son of a bitch. Yeah, go to this document that I made up to try to threaten people and make them feel intimidated under the investigation of something that does not fucking exist, that has no jurisdiction in the country even if it were to exist. Let me try to threaten these people with a bunch of stupid fucking horseshit that no one takes seriously. Go to this document that I listed here, that he does not provide links for in the video's description. So, duh. Like, I want you to go to a source that has my narrative on it. I'm not gonna ask you to go to an objective source that's gonna sit in the middle and look at both sides and what both people are saying. I want you to go to a source that tells you what I want you to know. Typical fucking SJW leftist cocksucker bullshit. It's the same stupid bullshit every fucking time, and honestly, it's sad. He's too fucking retarded to make sense. All he is just another snake oil salesman pretending not to be a snake oil salesman, who also wears the skin of an SJW, who claims to be a feminist while at the same time verbally accosts women everywhere he goes when they don't agree with him on the internet. So, go fuck yourself. Your access to everything retarded made up bullshit ding dong bing chong bonsai hentai land. Now, before I go, I'm gonna let Penn Jillette say what needs to be said towards this. Penn, would you mind?
You need to shut the fuck